Boundaries are the foundation of digital ag. The quality of the boundaries have become more and more critical to machine performance and agronomic decisions. Hi, I'm Jordan Lee, and I'll be taking you through how to set up for recording field boundaries. For recording field boundaries, we're going to need a John Deere display, a Starfire RTK receiver, and on this gator we have installed a JD Link modem, as well as an ATU to check the quality of our work. To install the display, you'll need to secure the display via the RAM mount, then connect the square 26-pin corner post harness to the machine port. From there, connect the Ethernet cable to the Ethernet port. Installing the receiver. Firstly, you need to be aware of the notch underneath the receiver bracket. This is the center point of the receiver and where the distance from the fence is set. Next, there are two aerials to install. One is a long high gain RTK radio aerial and a shorter car radio aerial. Install the high gain RTK aerial to the base mounted on the roof. Next, install the car radio aerial into the pole mounted on the front of the gator. If the pole or aerial are damaged, the pole can be purchased from Bunnings and the aerial can be purchased from Super Cheap Auto. Next, loosen the clamp on the pole and adjust the pole out to the required physical distance from the fence. Use a measuring tape for accuracy. Once set, tighten the clamp on the pole. Next, mount the receiver. The SF6000 and SF7000 has a deluxe mount. The lip at the back of the receiver slides into the back of the bracket. Lower the receiver onto the bracket and with moderate force lock in place. Now connect the receiver wiring harness . And then the lead for the RTK radio. To power the John Deere Precision Ag hardware, turn on ignition and then the GPS switch in the dash. This will also power the JD Link modem as well. As a part of planned boundary recording jobs, these will be sent as a work plan. Included in the work plan will be the client farm field, existing boundaries, mapping as the product type, and implement width that is double the width of the distance from the fence line to the receiver. To record a boundary, press the boundary button at the bottom of the screen in the shortcut bar. Then select method of creating a boundary as driven standard boundary. Press boundary name and add your initials to the end. This will identify who created the boundary. Select the GPS offset point and make sure it's set on 0 meters. The pole at the front of the gator is your gauge. Before you press start, make sure that you are lined up with the fence. Once in position, press start, then pause. You can then drive away from the fence line and pick up points along the way to record. Not all fence lines are straight, so do not drive from one end to the other without recording points along the way. You can close the boundary record screen to select the work button at the bottom of the screen in the shortcut bar. This will record your start and stop times for your work. Now begin driving and move away from the fence. You need to pull up square to the fence. It's okay to manoeuvre to get into position to record the next point on the fence line. Record the next point by hitting resume. When recording corners and curves, think like a tractor and make sure you give it a nice wide arc. What you do in the gator will impact the way the boundary track performs in the machine. When aiming to square up against a fence, aim for 1 or 2 star pickets past the corner. Now you've completed your boundary, press save. To check your work, press set track, new track, boundary track, then next, then call the track boundary, and now you can check your work. Make sure your implement and track spacing is double the width you have recorded from the fence. This will allow you to check the distance from the physical boundary to the digital boundary. The distance from the fence should be the distance the gauge pole is set at. For example, if the gauge pole is set at 1 metre, there should be a 1 metre gap between the fence. When recording flags for trees or power poles, for example, select flags in the shortcut menu, drive next to the point of interest, and then press the flag button that corresponds. Once completed, boundary and flags will need to be sent back to Operations Centre. Select Menu, System, File Manager, Export, Custom Export, Operations Centre, All Data, and select all the checkboxes. Then hit Next. Select Current and Legacy Systems and wait for that to process. Now you're ready to record field boundaries. If you require any help, please contact Brennan Gove or Jordan Lee.